Careering on your front wheel down something.
I get a buzz, I get a really warm feeling inside.
Jumping around and constantly laughing.
A small flurry of notes.
Bouncing your hand off a tree and somehow not ending up on the floor.
You take a mental photograph and it kind of embeds into your memory.
When everything comes together, it just feels easy and you just feel like you can fly almost.
Happiness is something that everybody is looking for, and it makes sense because happiness feels good. But happy people are really good for society because they tend to live longer, they are more successful, they outperform people who are unhappy, and they tend to be nicer, more altruistic people. And in fact, happy children outperform their peers on all levels.
Our work is really about looking at the scientific study of happiness, trying to understand what causes people to be happy.
A sense of belonging.
Meeting a lot of people that are from a lot of different places.
Family makes me happy.
A sense of sharing.
I'm happy when I'm listening to loud music.
Happiness can be measured quite easily. It's really a matter of asking people a simple question like, how happy have you been feeling today or in the last week? And asking them to rate on a scale, perhaps from 0 to 7 or 0 to 10.
I would say I'm quite high. I'd say I'm an 8 or a 9.
8.
10. Between 7 and an 8.
I'd say 8.5.
Oh, 10. Cool, son. Always 10, man.
There are obviously different types of happiness, and really there are two main categories, one being an instant form of happiness, which tends to be quite unhealthy, and the other being a healthy long-term happiness. Instant happiness tends to come from things like drugs, alcohol, doing things that involve risk and potentially are not that good for us. They give us the highs, but they tend to have really big lows attached. The second type of happiness is long-term happiness, and that's really what everybody should be striving to achieve. And the way you achieve that is to have great relationships, make sure that you know what you're good at, and make sure that you work at that because it reinforces your self-worth.
For a long time, it was thought that your level of happiness was fixed, and that more or less whatever happened to you in life, good or bad, you'd always return to about the same level of happiness. But actually, that's not the case, and that there are things that can make a lasting improvement to your happiness.
Resilient people are happier people, and by the term resilience, I'm talking about somebody's ability to have things go wrong in their life and pick themselves up and carry on. The art of being resilient means that it's not that you don't fail, but that when you fail, that's okay, because you'll have learned something, and the next time you'll ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Happiness is more to do with the things you do rather than the things you have.
I do martial arts. Doing what I love, music, being on stage, volunteer work.
Racing downhill mountain bikes.
Yeah, why did I say playing guitar when I'm happiest? That was foolish. Sitting by a river, God.
The brilliant thing about resilience is you don't have to know it as a child, for example. You can learn it. You can pick up the tips and tricks.
Connect with people. In other words, try to spend time with people you like, socialising, having fun.
The last festival I played was the V Festival last summer. It's like 15 minutes away from my house, so all of my best friends were there, all my family were there. And I'd been the year before as like a camper just to watch it, and I had no idea that the next year I'd be performing there. It was quite special to me.
Keeping learning is really important for keeping interested in life.
When I get on the hard climb and the first time I go on it, it feels impossible. But by practicing it, it just feels easy and you just feel like you can fly almost.
And sometimes it's really important just to stop and take notice of how we feel right now.
One of the best occasions I find for meditation is going on the London Underground. And you have this booming background noise that wipes out all the distraction, and you are there with free time, with nothing else to do. And that's when I find it very, very effective.
Being in control of your life, realising that you can make decisions, that you're in command and that you can take responsibility for your own happiness.
I have been doing Kung Fu and Russian martial arts for 5 years. I've started from basic beginners and learned it up to teaching standard. I'm the only female in my class. I'm a stick. I'm really weak. But like now I've really built myself up and I'm proud of myself.
Giving is actually a great way of improving your own happiness. Being nice to somebody, being kind to them, makes you feel great.
Once the tattoo is finished and I step back from it, I relish the accomplishment, but seeing their expression, I can actually tell if someone's very happy with the end result. Little by little, it's little pieces of art walking around that have interaction with other people that bring joy to them.
The thing about happiness is, yeah, it might sound like it's hard work, but actually the benefits of that work are so joyful that it's worth every bit of that investment.
Spend some time thinking about what you really enjoy doing and who you really enjoy doing it with, and then just make plans to keep doing it and doing it as often as you can.
Nobody can be happy all the time, and that is a really good thing, because the thing about being a human is the range of emotions, and when you feel happy you know it because it's different from feeling okay or feeling sad. The reality is that when we get that rush, it's a real joyful experience, but at the same time we should always aim for just a consistent feeling of being okay, because that's a really good place for anybody to be. And when you get the happiness rush, brilliant, but the rest of the time it's cool to just be right here.